other than Nina and Alice.
Oh, yeah.
Who will be joining us in a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay, weirdly and we're live. It is Friday, September 24th, 2021. Wow, it is actually weird to like remember the year that you have to like announce. 5:02 p.m. Eastern time. It has been a long week, and so it is cheese night with just me and Ben and Nina and a special guest who will be showing up with Genevieve. And
wonder who that could be.
I know. And Alice. Well, I don't mean for Alice is just gonna get.
Alice is gonna hang out and be Alice, and we're gonna let the audience just comment on Alice just being there.
Yep. Nina is very interested in being over near me right now because there is a giant thing of cheese over here that smells very frequently. Okay, let's see. So we're going to play today. We're going to do the Where's the Lie? But it'll be short stories. And it will be between Ben and I, and you will have to vote in the polls who you would prefer. You will not hurt our feelings, trust me.
And we're going to actually bring people on from the audience to say what they want a story about. It can't be a story, like you can't give really specific, like I want to, but maybe a question that prompts a story.
No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to like over engineer it. I think that like we'll waste too much time like doing that. I think that like we need to like do we can like limit like I think like who they want and then like whether that we're lying.
All right.
You think that that's like enough? I mean, I think like also I don't know that I have like enough arsenal to fit a story or a line. Like,
how about this? If the vote goes for you, you'll do it that way. If not, sure. I'll bring somebody on and and prompt.
Yeah. See, Reverend Doctor is with me. Let's see. Nina, you can stop. Okay. You're just like, yeah. Okay, so where is Alice?
I don't know. Did you bring her on?
No, I'm trying to.
Oh.
Alice sent me a text message the other day. She was in a restaurant bar in Cape Cod that has a lot of license plates on the wall, and it has my grandfather's license plate on the wall. And she wanted to know if she could find it. And so she wanted to know which one it was. And I was like, okay, it has this on it. And she went and found it and then sent me a picture. It was super cute.
That's pretty awesome. Hello, Alice.
Hey, Alice.
Hello.
Did you cut your hair?
I don't know. Did you have some? I can't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
We can barely
hear you. What happened
to
your $10 headphones that solved everything?
She can't hear us.
You can't hear us, huh?
We should probably release her.
No, this is we have a wild Alice, and now we have to keep it this way forever.
Except that she can't hear us when she's in.
I can hear you.
You can hear us now.
Hear us now.
Yeah.
We can sort of hear you. So why don't we keep Alice muted, and then she'll just be being Alice the whole time.
I can't mute her.
Fix my audio, bro.
I don't know what's going on. I actually can't mute her, and I'm captaining.
There we go. Oh, she's muted now.
No, she's not.
No?
No.
Well, she's very quiet.
Yeah, she's very quiet. Not quite the same. Okay, so... Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay.
All right. So,
is Genevieve here yet?
I don't know. Genevieve will text us when she's here.
Yeah. I also feel like
we're dead even on the story thing.
I think that's by design, not by my design. I think the audience is.
I see.
Yes, maybe. Just hypothesizing. But yeah. Well. We need a tiebreaker.
All right. How about this?
Nope.
I will tell. Why don't we say what we will tell a story about, and then we'll see how that affects the vote.
Okay. I will give 3 statements, short statements by description. And you have to guess which of the 3 is the lie.
I will tell a story about how I got a room full of 9-month pregnant women to stare daggers at me all at once.
To stare what?
Daggers at me all at once.
Okay, isn't that the whole story? Didn't you just tell it?
No. I'm telling you, the end of the story is like 15 very pregnant women looked at me like I was the devil himself. And, but how that came to be is the story.
Okay. Well, Ben, you're winning.
I'm pulling ahead. Yeah.
Ben, you win. I think I was too vague in my story. Okay, my story, I'll give you a sample of what the 3 truths and a lie are. 1 is the time that I met Hillary Clinton. 1 is the time that I met the ambassador of France. And 1 is the time that I met Michael Kors.
I am pulling further ahead.
No one cares. Oh my God. Okay.
Like the audience has voted decisively for the angry pregnant women.
Okay. So go ahead, Ben. Tell your story.
All right. And we'll see if people believe the story. All right. So I want to stress that this story is entirely true. There is no element of untruth in this story. And it involves the birth of my older child, lo these 23 years ago. My older child was born in a hospital that no longer exists, where which required that you attend childbirth classes, which were ordinary and pedestrian and not worth telling stories about, and 1 infant safety and CPR class, which was not pedestrian at all and is very worth telling stories about. The infant safety and CPR class, which I quickly came to call the How to Kill Your Baby class, was a very specifically engineered exercise in inducing panic in a group of women who were about to have children, all their first babies, and their husbands or partners who were there with them, trying desperately to seem supportive, principally to the other people present, because having because you're really supposed to be supportive, and so there's this kind of demonstrative supportiveness that comes to be demonstrated in these situations.
But you're not being supportive to like everyone. You told that really weird.
No. You have to you have to be supportive. You have to show all the other pregnant women that you're being supportive to your partner.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because otherwise,
that's not what you said.
You're just a bad person.
Yeah, we understand how like the dynamics of social performance work. So,
okay. So, and then in the middle of this scene, there is a labor and delivery nurse who is demonstrating on a little baby CPR doll the many ways that you can kill it, and she's enjoying this performance just a little bit too much, so that everybody is sitting there, and I don't think I was the only one thinking this is a little bit creepy. Now, the CPR part of the class, fine, it was okay. But the infant safety part is super creepy, because what it actually is a giant set of advertisements for baby safety products that you have to buy or your baby is going to die in the following way. And so it starts with fairly normal stuff, plug, outlet stoppers, baby gates, the sort of stuff that you think of as, necessary for baby proofing, which, by the way, none of which are necessary for newborns because, newborns don't actually move very much. But if the goal is to get people panicking as early as possible, as completely as possible, you really want to start before you need to, because this is, 8-10 months from now when the baby's mobile, you really want to be ready. And over time, this presentation gets more and more exotic as you move into ever more peculiar ways that your baby can die if you do not buy the product. And I am becoming more convinced as I watch this woman that she is actually a paid agent of Bye Bye Baby. Because, when you go to one of these baby stores, there's walls and walls of these baby safety products. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm becoming convinced that she's actually on the take from Bye Bye Baby. And every person who goes straight from this class and buys a lot of infant safety products, she is going to get a cut. I am getting angrier and angrier and angrier as this display becomes, as the products become more improbable in what they're going to protect you from. Yes, babies do fall down the stairs. No, you don't need to monitor your baby, 100, babies actually survived before there were infant monitors to film them while they're sleeping. Babies have privacy too. I finally lost it when she got to the toilet seat locks. And because I'm sitting there and there are, these are actually people who are in a somewhat vulnerable position in their lives, which is, they've never had a baby before. They're really nervous. And now she's talking about how the babies are going to drown in the toilet. And, I just snapped. I'm not proud of it. Actually, I am a little proud of it. I'm not very proud of it. I just lost it. And I raised my hand, and she said to me, "Yes, you have a question?" And I said, "Do we have any data on how many babies in the United States drowned in the toilet last year?" And the mood of the room changed all of a sudden, because all of these women realized all of a sudden that I was actually a terrible person. And all of the men realized that I was not being supportive. And she looked at me and she said, I don't think we have exact figures on that. And I said, well, there's some cost-benefit analysis, right? it's and I got into this argument with the L&D nurse in a fashion that I think John actually would have appreciated. Kate, John would have supported me in this. I said to her, look, you can lock everything in your house. And I found myself just being stared daggers at by about 15 very pregnant women, none of whom looked as amused as Genevieve does right now. And Tammy kind of elbowed me, which was her way of saying, this is the part where you shut up. And I did shut up.
Did you say as she was elbowing you, "Why are you elbowing me?"
I did not. I saved that behavior for you, Kate. But I did shut up. But I did not buy a toilet seat lock. And although both of my children have had their struggles in life, neither of them drowned in the toilet. And neither of them joined the parade, the epidemic of Americans whose parents fail to protect them from the toilet seat. So that is the story of how
and that's
became...
obviously just a true story. So we're just not even going to vote on it. Like it's like pointless because no one thinks you're lying. But Genevieve, welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Back. We've missed you. You've been busy.
I've missed you guys a lot.
So you have somebody to introduce us to.
That is an enormous newborn baby.
He's very large. That's what the doctor has said multiple times. She came in the next morning and she goes, "Is he kidding me?" Because they kept telling her on the sonogram, like, he's just like a really big baby. And she's like, no way. And then she was very surprised. But yeah, this is Luke. He is pretty chill. We're really lucky. He, though, for the last week, has had a 5 o'clock alarm set for some reason, and now we're finally off of that, which is great. But he's pretty cool. He doesn't do much, but he eats and he drinks and sleeps.
John calls this phase, as we watched our friends go through it, the screaming, pooping meatball phase.
Lump. Total lump.
Yeah. Have you bought toilet seat locks?
Ben, you're so... You spoke to my soul, because they really do just terrify you about everything. So we didn't do 90% of the classes that we're supposed to do because Andrew was just like, no way. This is insanity.
It is so horrible.
Yeah, it's just... Why
do you do these things? Did you find anything useful about them, Ben?
So I found the infant CPR stuff quite useful.
Just to put your mind at ease?
Just so that you know what to do in the event of, it's really a choking issue, and just so that you know how to do compressions, and, that's worth doing. And I definitely found the, just the logistics of a birthing class, how the particular hospital does things is super useful to know. I was not a reluctant participant in any of said stuff. I was enraged by the pushing of the infant safety products. It just seemed infinitely manipulative and actually really enraged me. But nobody thought I was lying.
No one thought you were lying, Ben. Everyone knows that you just want to use Where's the Lie to tell cool, true stories about your life. Let's be honest.
Okay, the next one I tell is totally going to be a lie.
But now I don't know if it will be.
I know, yeah, exactly. I love the most about after the he just went. It was very cute. Oh my goodness, he's so sound asleep. He looks a little angry while he's sleeping.
He's seriously the grumpiest old man of a baby I've ever met, and it's kind of great because I love grumpy old people. So this is my ideal baby.
Perfect. My second favorite part after Ben's story and after the baby is that Alice is just still
Allison.
on the hot Allison that we've
Alice.
forced her. Aren't you so glad that we talk about you all the time whenever we can't get our tech to work. It is we're just gonna leave Alice there for the whole show. We'll try to mute you in a little bit. I'm eating cheese.
So wait, it's your turn, Kate.
No, it's not. No one voted on me. They voted you up, not me.
What are you talking about? It's your turn.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to ask questions about the baby. Okay, so first of all, have you had time yet to enjoy all the things any of the things that you couldn't do while you were pregnant?
I've had one glass of red wine.
And was it heavenly?
I was so good.
Yeah. Oh man. And there was back to the idea of infant safety. I really do. So, okay, with the caveat that I obviously don't have children, and a lot of friends that have had children, I find that there is a very that some of, and it's usually my female friends, well, sometimes it's my male friends. There is just like among some of my friends who are already kind of on the neurotic side of things, a very, very like almost psychotically large spike in anxiety and paranoia and like craziness that does not subside, as far as I can tell. Has actually led to like just kind of a slow parting of ways of like, we used to be close and like now you're just not that much fun anymore, and kind of mono. Like, so one, like I worked with, and I will not say which job, but I worked with one woman who just would like tell me over and over and over and over and over again that like anytime I had an opinion on anything that I would feel differently once I had children. So that was like one thing that I found to be, and like Ben,
and
Genevieve,
someday you'll find out if she's right.
I know. I was going to like natural experiment. Genevieve, do you feel like ever so like, did you feel like you are now like present in the world in a different way?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm very much the same. I like to think that I'm very much the same person. I am slightly more anxious just because there's a lot of things that I don't know what to do about, but that's really it. And like, but once we figure that out, it's like, okay, done. We're like, we've kind of decided how we're going to assess this risk and what risks we're going to take and things like that. But no, like I actually kept talking to my sister-in-law who was also pregnant at the same time, and people would talk about, and I apologize if this offends anybody, but like they were like, oh my God, you're going to feel so differently. You're going to like have like a complete metamorph. I'm like, I really don't think so. Like I'm sorry. Like, no, this is my kid. I love my kid, but like, I'm still getting to know him. Like, we've only been together like a little less than 2 weeks. I don't know this guy. Like,
yeah, I dated people in college for longer than that. Like, yeah.
It's true.
So wait, Alice asks a very good question in the chat, because she can't speak in real life, which is, what's the most out of context conversation in which she used that response? Like,
oh, God,
was it like, I don't like, pepperoni, and she's like, oh, you'll feel differently about that when you like, how ridiculous was it? Or was it all stuff where it was
one of my other coworkers, one of my other coworkers obsessively collected compact discs to the extent that he had thousands of compact discs in a storage unit. Like, and this was like, he was just obsessed with these. And I was like, you are insane. There is so much better, more high fidelity ways of collecting music than CDs. And like, this is bonkers, like not even vinyl, like you're collecting CDs, not even like, yeah, hard drives. Like there's just better. And he was insistent. And I think that this woman said at some point, was like, you like use that line. The other time she used it,
wait,
I think.
What do they have to?
Nothing. But she wanted the answer to the most out of context thing that she used.
Yeah, but that's like, that one's so out of context. But I can't even like understand the connective tissue.
No, there wasn't.
I bet she feels like her house is suddenly full of crap now that she has a child.
Yes.
Wow, Alice.
Yes.
Speaks.
Thank you, Alice. That was like almost exactly what it was. And that I didn't understand how to value things because I hadn't I hadn't gone through this metamorphosis of like, and I just, so there was just like this, and I mean, it was to the extent that she like had her kid wearing a helmet all the time. Like it was like a 2.5-year-old and she just wore a helmet constantly. And
that's sad.
Yeah, it was like a little, it was really actually, and so it was like, it actually like kind of crossed over from the point of being funny and yeah, but there was,
it wasn't funny if you were the kid though, I suspect.
What? Oh, I mean, I think the kid was like the most doted on, precious. I mean, for that point for how old the kid was, it was like completely fine. But it was, I have no idea what they're doing now. I think that she's had like 4 more. So,
Well,
hopefully
here's what's going to happen.
she'll
Eventually,
relax a
Kate,
little.
you will have a kid, and you will immediately feel differently about everything. And all those things, you'll like fill your house with CDs, and you're going to be like, "Oh my God, she was right." You'll wear helmets everywhere.
I mean, I will say this. I even. Oh, hello. Hi.
Someone's waking up.
Oh no!
He does like this thing where he sleeps through like these like spazzy things, and he's just right back out.
Yeah, he is really cute. I was gonna say that like the thing that I do think is that I do when I went to law school, all of my friends had like all of my older friends that were John's friends had all gone into big law, and John and I was like, I'm not going into big law, and John was like, oh yeah. That's what all of them say. And everyone says that. And then you will go into big law. You will. And I bet him like $1,000. Not that I've never collected on or something like that, that I wouldn't go into big law. And like, here I am. So know thyself, people. I feel like, okay. Let me see what the thing,
we should have Luke tell a story.
I don't think he's sleeping. He's just being cute on the screen. I love it.
His origin story would be like, I was on the inside. Then there was some loud noises, and now I'm out. And that's about it.
Oh my gosh. And
we'd have to ask, is he lying?
I'm making bets on Molly's baby, which I think is going to be 11 pounds, 6 ounces.
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. It's like, I think that's like actually close to the estimate that the doctor is giving to. Like, it's crazy. But we have, let me look at the poll. Okay, we're neck and neck. And then we have, Timothy has his cat here. Let's see. Eric Berg has, Alice, do you have a good story?
It can be true or false. We can't hear you.
So that's cool.
Go ahead.
Oh,
now we can.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
I live in Vienna now, so that got me pretty busy. Yeah.
You live in Vienna?
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, I should have lied and said like Berlin or something, but then Petra could have found me out.
That's awesome.
When did you move to Vienna?
What happened?
Yesterday.
Oh, so you're fresh off the plane.
Yeah. I'm ruining my attempt to recover from jet lag. Yeah.
And why did you move to Vienna?
I was ready to move somewhere new, and also, and yes, Austria, not Virginia. Yeah. And there's an interesting master's program here, but also mostly ready to move somewhere new. Yeah.
So did you have to ship all your stuff over before, and like how's the logistical part of that?
Yeah, I brought it all over on the plane. So I went through the opposite of the CD man and got rid of a lot of things.
You're very brave, Alice.
No, it's just
that's super cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
How'd you find an apartment?
I didn't. This is a friend's apartment. And
cool.
She's actually in Boston right now, which is kind of funky, but I'm just going
that is funny.
Try to find something while I'm here.
So how long are you there for?
2 years, with some visits back probably, but yeah.
That's so great. That's really exciting.
Yeah, put all your suggestions in the chat, which people are doing, so thank you.
Very cool. How did you pick Vienna?
I actually know a fairly large number of people here, and then like more friends of friends have come out of the woodwork, which is good. And the master's program was a good fit. So, and I do speak some German, but thankfully the master's program is in English because the accent is really challenging in general, but especially for the amount of German I speak or do not speak.
Is it like High German in Austria, or is it
not at all?
What? Oh, it's just regular. I think that's
High German
Switzerland.
is like the standard. No, it's like Northern Germany.
Okay.
I think it's what the Prussians spoke and then forced everyone else to speak. And it's like very clipped and precise and stuff like that. It's like someone today was comparing it to like a very formal, like fancy British accent versus sort of the average American accent where things kind of run together and aren't as precisely pronounced. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How did all of your friends end up in Vienna? I don't know a single person in Vienna.
Yeah, so I know the person in Boston. So we had a neighbor when I was little who we met because she had a beagle and she would walk it around and her beagle was cute. And she then got a job in Vienna and has lived here for the past 7 or 8 years, I think. And when I was in high school, actually, I did a summer here, not with her, but with one of her friends who had kids my age. So I know kind of those people. And then, as I've mentioned to friends that I'm moving to Vienna, a relatively recent friend was like, oh, I grew up there, actually, even though I'm an American, because my mom was an opera singer. Like, here are several people I knew as children. So
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've already been invited to a party on Wednesday with a bunch of real Austrians, which are apparently hard to meet in a very expat-friendly city like this. So,
Very cool.
See. Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying, Genevieve?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, I mean, was it like very complicated with all the COVID stuff to get everything like moving through, or was it like a relatively straightforward process?
I'm a pretty simple case because I'm a student and I have, after a couple of years, a bunch of like enough savings that I can kind of waltz through the visa process.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean,
so
annoying in
excited.
the fact. Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't too awful, but it was still pretty miserable. So, and it's like the easiest case for a visa process, and I was like, why is this hard? So I don't know if.
Wow. So does anybody want to make the case that Alice is lying? I think she's pretty clearly telling
She's
the
actually
truth,
still in Somerville.
especially because I can't hear her refrigerator.
That's true. I have a fancy tiny European. It's a tiny European refrigerator here. So
It's
I don't know if
quiet.
this. I don't know if this applies to. I lived for 4 months in France, and I realized that there were little things that I really, really, really missed, like good garbage bags and Q-tips. I don't know. I'm wondering if those types of things exist in Vienna.
I don't know about the Q-tips, but I do know that the person I'm staying with / our family friend does bring sponges back every year, because they just have like natural sponges here, and she wants a synthetic scrubby side sponge, and someone asked her to bring back Ajax. I brought Teddy peanut butter, which is my peanut butter brand of choice. I think they only have Skippy here, and I brought 4 boxes of Annie's mac and cheese white cheddar, because I don't think I'll find that here.
That is a staple and a necessity.
We can ship
Thank you. I feel very understood. Perfect. Thank you.
I mean, I don't think 4 boxes will last you very long.
Oh, I'm rationing myself. 1 a month. Whatever my worst day of a month is, bring it out. That's the plan.
Man, I wish I just had 1 bad day a month. I would drink a lot less wine.
Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. That's the plan so far.
If you get any hankering for particular snacks, we'll send.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Well, Alice, I'm going to stop Alicing you because I feel a little bad, but it is so fun to see you. Thank you for
Great to
hanging out.
see you. Welcome back and welcome to Austria.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, if any.
Whoops. Cut her off mid-sentence. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, never happens when I'm captaining.
Yeah, right.
We still want a story from you, Kate.
Okay. Let's see. When I was in law school, I decided that I was going to go to France. And hi, buddy. Oh, I decided that I was going to go to France, and I didn't have a lot of money, but tickets were not that expensive, and I figured I would stay in hostels. And so I packed a giant backpack and that I borrowed from Kate Gage. And I showed up in France on a Thursday morning. And I had just coincidentally, it was like luck of the Kate Klonick, had managed to arrive on the first Thursday of the month in Paris, which is always the free museum day. And so you can go to all the museums for free. And so I arrive at 6 a.m. and I take the metro into Paris, and I drop my bag in the free bag check at the Louvre. And Kate Gage was also like, oh, and like, as long as you're in Paris, you should meet up with my friend who like works for an American in France. And so I was like, okay. And so I emailed this guy, and he was like, yeah, sure, let's get coffee today. Like, I'll meet you at 3. So I walk around the Louvre for free. I'm having a great time. Paris is Paris. It's like April. It's a little cold. And I meet up with this guy, Daniel, and he sends me an address to meet him at. And I start walking, and I get about halfway towards where I'm supposed to be, and like the neighborhood has turned very strange. Like, on the right, there are all 45-foot walls that are punctuated by giant, like almost like castle-like doors that are 2 stories high, and then have a smaller regular sized door inside the giant door. And so like, I have no idea what's happening, but I'm walking down like this rue, and there is like this kind of there's this kind of like vibe of like, maybe I copied this address wrong. And I arrive at where I'm supposed to be, and it's one of these doors, like in this giant wall, of which I do not know what is behind this wall and like what's going on. And there's all of these police with like, there's a US flag, like some stuff. And I'm like, And I'm like, excuse me, like, where am I? I'm supposed to see this person for coffee. And they're like, oh, this is the ambassador's residence to France from the United States to France. And I was like, huh. And I'm like, ripped jeans, like crop top, like I'm in like on vacation and I'm in law school. And so sure enough, I go through the little door in the big door, and I walk into the courtyard, and it is the ambassador's residence. And there is this guy, Dan, to like meet me. And there is the ambassador with his 2 golden retrievers and like his wife.
So
like,
Dan is not the ambassador. No,
Dan is not the ambassador. He's the chief of staff to the ambassador. So when he says that he works for a guy in France that's an American, he wasn't lying. Just like, well,
just understated the point slightly.
Yeah. So, and so Daniel lives in where there are many apartments within the residence. And so, Daniel shows me his, apartment in the residence, and he goes, where are you staying? And I go, a hostel. And he goes, no, you're staying here. Like, no, stay here. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I stay in the French ambassador's residence or the U.S. ambassador to France's residence for like 3 nights. And on the 3rd night, Daniel turns to me and says, I know you're living out of backpack. Why do you travel like that? Why would you do that? Like, why would you like, and I'm like, and he's like, do you have anything like nice to wear? Dear reader, I do not have anything nice to wear. Like, I literally do not. All I have is like long underwear that is black that I had like brought as like, and a pair of like heels that do not have actual heels. It's just the shoe nail on the heel because the bottom had fallen off. And so they make this terrible scrapey click clacky sound that I'd gotten them for €1 at a flea market that day so like, all right. So they're like bright blue. And I'm like thinking these bright blue classic pumps might be like kind of like chic with like a all black ensemble. The French love all black. And I'm like, what am I getting dressed up for? He goes, it's Michael Kors' 50th birthday party. It's at the residence. And so I dress, and then like I come down wearing what I'm wearing, and he goes, so just stand in the back and look like your help. And I'm just like, okay. And so I stand in the back, and Mary J. Blige is giving a private concert. And Anna Wintour is there, and like all of these, like, and everyone, and I have never heard like, and so everyone is like, I mean, it is just like star-studded, like crazy, like, and I end up like talking for like most of the night, because I feel so deeply uncomfortable and underdressed, that I end up hanging out with all of the bodyguards for all of the famous people that are outside the thing while Mary J. Blige is like performing her 3 songs for Michael Kors. So anyway, so I do this, and I still have video on my phone of this. This was like when video was like I had like a flip phone that was like, and I took video, and it was like took up like all of my battery, and I was like, I have to do something to prove that this happened to me. And so afterwards, Daniel's like, well, we're all gonna go to the hotel lobbies. And I'm like, you mean after the party, there's the after party, then after the party, there's the hotel lobby? And so, yes, that was actually how it worked. And so we went from hotel lobby to hotel lobby drinking Moet. And like, it was just like a joke. Like it was all of these fashion people. It was Fashion Week in Paris. I had no idea when I booked my tickets. This was like, So anyways, after that, I was like, this was a crazy thing. I am never going to like top this experiment. I am leaving this place. I'm going to go stay in a hostel and hostel and get back to my roots. And, except that I had kind of didn't have, there were no rooms in the inn. Actually, it turns out that all of the hostels in Paris, except in the outskirts, were completely booked up. And so instead of so I picked up my backpack, of which I am now ashamed, and I carried it to a hostel just to see if there had been like a cancellation, like someone hadn't shown up. And my flight, by the way, is the next morning. I'm leaving already. It's been 4 days. I was only supposed to be there for a little while. So my flight is the next morning. And so I am leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning anyways. And I show up at this hostel at 8 or 9. And after 3 days in this residence and with Daniel, I am quite exhausted. And this woman's like, no, we don't have anything. You can try to go around to some of the hostels in the area and see what you can find, but you can just put your bag in the baggage room for now. And I'm like, okay. And I just kind of go to the baggage room and open it up and put my bag in and then just lie down on top of the bag. And I end up sleeping the whole night in the baggage check in this hostel in the dark, surrounded by other people's bags. And it was just the night before I was drinking champagne with Michael Kors and Anna Wintour in hotel lobbies. And then I was sleeping a homeless person in a bag check. And then I got on the plane and I left Paris. And that's the story.
Well, you got to put up a poll to see if people... This story is clearly true. There's no need to.
This is why I've been struggling to come up with a thing, which is just kind of I like that story is true and there's no question of it being true about me and people would totally buy that. I mean, I think that says something. I'm just comfortable with that, but also I just don't know how to lie, and enough weird shit has happened to me.
Are you a good liar, Genevieve?
Not really, no. Andrew says that I have the most transparent poker face ever, and he's like, you're terrible. I can't do it. But I did want to ask a question about, did you get any good stories from the bodyguards? Oh man, I'm so curious.
I stayed in touch with one of them for a while. It was Mary J. Blige's bodyguard. Yeah. And he was actually a former agent, I think. And he had gone into security. And but he was telling me stories about his kids who were ended up going to the police academy in Virginia, and he was giving me he was giving me their information because I was in Georgetown. And so, but yeah, we stayed in touch for a little while, but it was pretty, I don't know. The other thing about it was it really makes me dislike, it was fun to be not of that, but in it. And but it's funny. I would be very exhausted if I had to kind of do that all the time. Does it feel that way in DC ever, Ben, with the DC culture? It's not quite the haute couture, but
Yeah, DC culture is different, because yes, it can be exhausting, but it's never. It doesn't have the same quality as kind of New York fashion culture, and it's not a. You always have the ability to opt out of it.
Well, if you caught before that I said that there were 3 stories, and one was the meeting the ambassador of France, and one was meeting Michael Kors, and one was Hillary Clinton. It was I don't think I've actually met Hillary Clinton. I've met Bill a few times, but I don't think I've met her. And but the other 2 were like I could fold them into one story.
Yeah,
I was like, but yeah, it was a very weird. It was a trippy. It was a weird
awesome.
trip. Yeah, it was really fun.
It's also funny too because like you were very on point because Michael Kors doesn't he only wear like all black all the time?
Yes, and he had I think it was also, and I think you could double check me. He had just opened up his flagship store in Paris. He had not had a store in Paris, and that was like a big deal that he was opening up his like first Paris store. So that was like a whole thing.
So we have 2 outstanding issues. One is that Alice is demanding a full account of the outfit in question.
Which outfit? My outfit?
Yes.
Oh, it was a black it was like black long underwear that was like tight. It was like literally like a black scoop neck with like long sleeve. And then like I put on, it was like black spandex, like workout spandex. Cause it was like to go for a run in. Cause I thought it would be more likely that I went for a run in Paris than I was that I would go to like a fancy person's birthday party in like the ambassador's residence. And so like I literally had it like, I actually remember pulling everything out of the bag and being like, what can I possibly do with any of this to make me not look like a college student? Yeah.
So the second thing is that Paula says she has an advice lifestyle question. In our new capacity as giving life advice.
Yeah, that's only you. I refuse to give advice. I feel like that sets.
By the way, I for those of you who listen to the French Village podcast, I want to read you guys a letter I received seeking advice, but I don't have it in front of me, so I will have to do that a different day. Paula, you have an advice/lifestyle question for Kate.
Where is she? For me? It's not for me.
Where?
Oh, yes, you're joking.
Isn't
there
that
you
on
are.
your one?
You're invisible, but
You're
we can
invisible.
hear you.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh, now there's like a little thingy.
Now Paula
That's
is
weird.
waiting to reconnect.
I still
Luke
have
has
the
been
shoes.
remarkably placid this entire hour.
I cannot believe this.
He's a really chill baby. We're really lucky it's false advertising. It's totally false advertising.
I don't think so. I've had a few friends now that, well, it really depends. But I also think, yeah.
Well, I mean, the only reason I say that is because I've had so many siblings and I was expecting it to be a lot worse. So I'm like, I think we got a little jackpot. So I'm gonna knock wood and hope this stays. But
Yeah.
he's pretty chill.
That's great.
Yeah.
I am really liking watching him snuggle. It's very soothing.
It's like a little weighted blanket. It's just like,
Yeah, totally. Is he sleeping in the same room as you guys?
yeah. We had it's everything we planned for went completely awry. So we're
That
just
seems par for the course with babies.
totally. And so he's with us. He's pretty good. Yeah. I'm talking about you. But overall it's been I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Hey Paula.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm looking at the baby. That wasn't like me, like you.
Is there something wrong with my face?
No.
So my question.
The answer is don't go out with the SS guys.
Well, I was gonna say one of my questions is, do I go out with him if he does or does not have a dog shirt? But that's not my real question.
No SS
mashing up,
guys.
mashing up Ben's two areas of expertise here. The SS and dog shirts.
My real question is, and I'm being serious, is I've realized that moving has made me hate cooking with all of all intensity. Like I absolutely hate cooking now. And I used to love cooking. I used to make ice cream myself, like homemade ice cream, like
Did you
fresh
have
pasta.
a nice kitchen to work in?
Yes. And now my kitchen, it's not that it's not nice. It doesn't have all the utensils that I want. And it's not like structured in a way where I can move easily around in it. And it's like depressing to cook. It's so awful and I hate it. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Well, the first thing is that you've now learned an important lesson about things that you value in an apartment. Honestly, you don't know. I think you don't know this until you lose something that you had before, and then you have to like reconstruct it. The second thing is you order Amazon Basics and you just get all those utensils and things. And this is the beginning. It is the beginning of a time in your life in which you decide to spend, depending on the amount of money you have and the amount of time and how much you think you're going to use them, invest in really cheap, basic versions of whatever that they'll get the job done, versions of whatever you want, with the intention that once you have more money and time and like room, you'll buy really nice versions of it, or whether you buy the nice versions now that last for a long time.
I was like, I'm going to get some like stuff. And I don't think I went too cheap because they were not cheap and they were from like a regular store. I'm not going to say what store. But I was drinking out of a glass cup and shards of glass were coming out.
Okay, here's my first piece of important lifestyle advice that doesn't involve whether or not to date Nazis. Don't eat shards of broken glass. No drinking.
Knocking it out of the park.
Let's clear that I never asked that question. I asked the dog shirt question.
Yeah, I just
Continue.
No. Just like shards of broken glass are not good for you. So don't drink those. Make sure when you clean the glasses there are not shards of broken glass in them when you use them. I think it's an important piece of life advice. Here's the answer to your broader kitchen question, which is, you should find the type of cooking you enjoy in that kitchen. Maybe it's, like fondues or something that you're doing on, elsewhere. There's something that you enjoy cooking in that space.
I love the subtle like cheese night product placement in that.
Yeah.
I was just eating mozzarella, but I think the extent of my cooking was taking the container of leafy greens, pouring the dressing in it, closing it back up, shaking it, and eating it out of the container.
You're also discovering maybe the first time that it really sucks to live alone is when like you're used to cooking for 4 or 2. Mm-hmm. And then
cooking for one sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
Like
it's
awful.
It's really bad, and you have to end up eating the same thing over and over again if you're economical about it. And you're like, it's not that much better cooking for 2, by the way. Like,
but you can. There's something in that kitchen that you've like never done before because your other kitchen was configured for other things. Maybe it's like a spit with a whole animal in the middle of it, and you just build a charcoal fire in the middle of the floor, and you feed your neighborhood with a whole goat.
Lying between potential torts here. Like, shards of glass, like open flame.
No, I'm arguing against eating the shards of broken glass.
I don't think the Ann Arbor code of building regulations would allow me.
Maybe it's not the whole animal spit roast thing, but there's some. I for example, like just taking an eggplant and throwing it on the stove, the surface of the stove, and just turning on the gas and roasting eggplant, on open flame on the stove. And then it kind of falls apart all of a sudden and you scrape it out. It's wonderful. On the stove, yeah.
Wait, do you have an open flame, or are you
Yeah.
Like how you would
gas.
do the peppers. It's the
Okay, well,
same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Put it
So
on-
Genevieve's just like nodding, like, of course.
No, but like, doesn't it just like leak juices all over your stove?
Yup.
Oh.
And then when it cools down, you sponge it up.
I'm sure you
And
could put like aluminum foil, right?
you can put down aluminum foil if cleanliness is your jam.
also do the
I being a wittist,
foil
don't really do the
in
whole
the oven.
cleaning thing.
Alice, are you gonna tell me about Annie's mac and cheese? Because I just want to say I'm already there.
I assumed.
Already hit.
I
But
just
it's
wanted.
organic, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I just wanted to say that the worst cooking situation I've been in was all I had was a rice cooker and a toaster and water from the bathroom. Don't live in weird like boarding house situations that are illegal in Los Angeles. So you can definitely feed yourself, but you might have to sort of like what Ben was saying, change what you're cooking.
That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Open spit roasted whole
Well,
animals.
I'm not there, but
Yeah.
Stop saying that.
but what I would say is that if you can think about like prepping like smaller ingredients, so like if you cook beans or something, like you can use those later, and then you can mix up what you're eating, but you're not like cooking things from scratch the whole time. I'd really recommend. It's like very. It's like
You do that with rice. You cook up a big thing of rice,
Yeah.
and then you can like
Yeah.
do like
Well,
10
I've
different
done
things with
meal
it.
Stir
prepping
fries are
for,
great.
like years, but it's like not fun meal prepping when you're not working out as much. So then you just think like, what am I eating healthy for? If not, like for the gains in my Civ Pro class, that's what I'm eating healthy for. It just doesn't support well.
The only thing that brains can feed on is sucrose and glucose.
I have a serious tip for you.
Okay.
For a very small amount of money, you can buy a sous vide circulator.
Oh yeah.
And the amount that you can do with it in terms of the amount that it will increase the flexibility of a bad kitchen across a diverse range of things is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I do like my sous vide circulator, but I don't think it's all that. Alice gave it a big thumbs down. Why?
I
think
love
it's like
my sous vide circulator, and I do so
the
much with it.
150th thing you should buy for your kitchen.
One of the other things that I found when I was living by myself is I had to change my purchasing habits. So instead of going to the grocery store like one time a week and getting like everything, I started to go like more frequently, less time, and kind of just plan it that way, because then I wasn't making a huge commitment to like what I was going to be eating for the week. And I found that got rid of the boredom.
That's been better, but the only thing that's funny about that is I don't know why I think I need to get eggs every single time I go to the grocery store, but I do think I do. So now I'm not joking, probably like 10 cartons of eggs in my refrigerator.
They really don't go bad.
You should
Just
take a
They don't go bad.
You can eat them and just take a picture of your fridge before you leave that you can reference later.
That is actually a really good trick too.
You should also, if in your kitchen, however much you don't like it, you can make Genevieve's grandmother's roasted red peppers, and they will make you happy.
I will do that.
Paula, you're a great American. Also, one last thing. I don't know what it's like with COVID, but when I was in
You
law
can't cook
school,
that in your kitchen.
when I was in law school, there were just so many free food events. And I would bring Tupperware with me to school, and there was always food left over. And I would literally fill like 2 or 3 Tupperwares full of like shrimp fried rice and and otherwise it was going to go bad or they were going to throw it away.
I literally knew somebody when Tammy and I were, he worked with Tammy, and if he's watching, I'm looking at you, Jamie Fleckner. Jamie fed himself for an entire summer only by going to DC events.
That's incredible.
And he would read. So this is pre-email, and they would get the hotline, which was this faxed, like was this kind of faxed zine that eventually moved onto the web, but. And it would list all the think tank events and stuff, and he would sign up for them just to get the food, and he would bring stuff to take the food with him, and that was what he ate for the entire time he was in Washington.
Yeah, I think
it wouldn't work in Ann Arbor.
You won't get in trouble, Paula. In fact, I'm sure you're going to see people do it as you go through. This is like something people figure out. But the other thing is like you do it at the end of the event, like after dispersing. You don't like sit there at the beginning and like
tray of food.
Yes.
Yeah, and they don't know where you're going. You could be just going to the library and you wanted a snack. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like totally. I would like highly recommend Tupperware move. I love that everyone like knows that this is a thing. It is like totally a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing.
It might not be the best for your diet, health-wise, in my experience, but
big pockets
it is free.
In your coat. You don't even actually need the Tupperware.
Rice. Right in there. Oh my God.
We have got a wrap.
Okay. Anyway, bye guys. Genevieve, thank you for bringing Luke on to hang out with us. That was
bring him back. He can host anytime.
Oh my God, he is so cute. I don't believe that he's awake, or I don't believe that he ever has an awake state until I see it. I want to.
I'll send a video.
I can't wait
to prove that he wakes up.
I'm actually amazed that he's like sitting. He's like so like armsy, and his neck seems pretty strong.
Not spazzing. He's but I am happy that he got to meet all you guys and see you guys.
Congratulations, GDF. He looks better on the outside than the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back.
We will be back on Monday. I'm not going to do the math. And
lots of hours from now.
And we have
56 minutes.
Wait, who do we have, Ben? We have some.
I don't know.
Oh, shit. I can't find no, we have someone good. Oh, my God. I can't.
I can find out. Calendar. You have Ross.
We have Ross Chait.
Yes, he is professor of political science and history at Brown University, and he is writing a book about fish. And
awesome.
Yes.
Maybe I'll get a beast of the day out of it.
And fishing, yeah. So I thought that he would be great, and yeah. So he will be back on Monday. We also have Paige, my friend Paige, who's coming on Paige Harden. I should have clarified that. You guys don't all know my friend Paige. So Paige Harden, who's coming on Wednesday to talk about her new book, and she was profiled in a lengthy article in the New Yorker that I will send a link around for. That was quite good, and that will be on Monday. So until then, have a great weekend, everybody.
And until then, Luke, what do we say?
We don't have fun anymore, but until then, we have cheese night.
I was going to say we have colic.
No, yeah. Oh, God, no, please.
Okay, sorry.